So I just saw the new Superman movie. And if you just want to get my quick opinion without watching the entire video, I'll say go watch it. It's a fun movie. It's a good summer blockbuster movie. It's a lot of fun. But if you want to hear how a 45-year-old remembers the movie, I've only seen it once. But if you want to hear how I remember it, scene for scene, I'm going to try to condense it down to about 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. I think I can get the entire movie in that amount of time. But if you want to see it played out from my memory using the action figures I have on hand to kind of recreate the scenes, this is the video for you. So buckle in because you're about to see Toymanoids presents Superman. So the movie starts. It says 3,000 years ago, the first metahumans were discovered or came about. 30 years ago, there was a meteor storm and a baby was delivered from the sky. Superman as a baby. Then it was like 3 years ago, Superman comes out to the public. So he's been out, doing stuff. People know about Superman. It was like 3 weeks ago, he stops a war in Bavaria. Bavaria is like about to invade this other country. Then it was like 3 minutes ago, Superman just lost his first fight. And he comes crashing in. And he's hurt. He's like, oh, and he's like, I've never seen it before. Like he's all beat up and coughing. Like, oh gosh, he looks terrible. And then he whistles because he's like in Antarctica, where like his fortress of solitude normally is. So he whistles, and here comes like a big pile of snow just shooting up in the air, and you hear like running. And the part of Crypto will be played by this pit bull. I actually don't have any cool dog toys. I need to get a Crypto. But he comes running in, and he's a dog, and he's bouncing on him, he's licking him, he's all excited. And he's like, no, Crypto. He's like, home, take me home. So Crypto grabs his cape, he drags him home. So he gets him home. He's like, oh, I'm hurt. And he has these Superman robots, as we call them, like Superman robots. And they're all numbered like 4 and all that. And like he also calls them that, like 4, and like, hey, you're hurt. And they're not too like worried about it. Like they want to get him fixed up, but it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. It's like, we can get you fixed up. So they take him. They put on his Kryptonian parents' message that was sent to him, but it's kind of messed up. You only hear the first part because it soothes him when he listens to it. They put him in this little bed thing. They're like 500 cc's of solar sun radiation, and they shoot down some sun on him. He's like, because it hurts him, but it heals him. So he's like doing pretty good. And they say he's like 80% good. He's like, well, that's good enough. I gotta get back and fight what I was doing. I'm like, you sure about that? Because you were 100% and you kind of got beat up. And he's like, no, I'm good. So he takes off. So Superman flies back into Metropolis, and the Hammer of Bavaria, he's there. And they're fighting, and this dude's like doing really well. It's like, what? How in the world this guy's like matching Superman, punch for punch, and Superman's kind of losing again. You're like, what in the world's going on? Then we're introduced to Lex Luthor, and he's played by Nicholas Hoult. And he's kind of like, he's got a whole team of people, and he's like saying, D12, do move A14. It turns out he's controlling this Hammer of Bavaria like a video game. He's like telling it what to do, and he's studied Superman so much he kind of knows what moves he can do to beat Superman. So this Hammer of Bavaria is really just giving a pounding to Superman. And I liked seeing Lex play this way. I usually, like in the other movies, he's been a menace, but he's kind of been a bumbling, kind of a scam artist, where this one feels like he's connected in. He's doing like Department of Defense deals and stuff. He's got some threat to the world. He's not just kind of a nuisance. He's like, he could be a big threat. He's connected, and people kind of like him. He's got a public image. So they're still fighting. They're going at it, and he kind of throws Superman down, and he takes off. He gets out of there, and Superman kind of, he lost again. He's not doing good. It's like, oh man. So it's like, that's embarrassing, and he gets out of there. And I'll say this too, I didn't I didn't recognize a lot of the cast. You know, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, but I didn't know like the actors who played Lois Lane. I didn't know the actor who played Superman, and I like that. You know, seeing some new faces, and you know, you're just seeing the character for what they are. You're not thinking about who's playing them. So that was a well done thing, I think, that James Gunn did. So it's pretty cool. But as Superman's getting beat up and being distracted in Metropolis, we have she's called the Engineer. And she doesn't look like this. She's like kind of wearing an all generic black outfit. Not the best character design. I don't know much about the character, if she appears in the comics or not. But she's up in Antarctica. She was tracking Superman. She's trying to find the Fortress of Solitude, and she sees it, and it's like starting to get pulled back down into the ground because when Superman leaves, it kind of has like a defense mechanism, I guess, where it just hides. But she knows where it's at, and she can her powers are she can control like electronic things, like she can turn herself into like machinery, and she can connect to computers and stuff. She has like a jetpack and she flies around. Not a great design, neat character, but it's not a neat design. It's a very forgettable design. It's pretty much like a black jumpsuit with some like techie texturing to it. But she Lex tells her we just said we got what we need to get out of there, so she flies off. So then Clark Kent goes to work, and I don't have a Clark, so we're gonna see Superman without the cape, and he's talking to Lois, and she's like, you know, we have a story. You have a story on Superman, and he's like, yeah, you know. I met with him. She's like, you're always meeting with Superman and doing interviews. What's up with that? She's like, maybe you should meet with someone else and do an interview. He's like, oh, I don't know. And Jimmy Olsen's in there, and you see like all the Daily Planet staff. And turns out like they already have a relationship. They have known each other, and like she knows who he is and all that. So that's kind of cool. We don't have to reestablish all that. It's there. It's given. And while Clark's back at work writing his stories with the Daily Planet, Lex shows up with Ultraman, who turns out Ultraman is the Hammer of Bavaria. He was just wearing like a big Iron Man type suit. But he takes it off, and there's Ultraman underneath. So he shows up with him and the Engineer to where the fortress is. And it pops up. You're like, okay, how do you do that? And as they walk up closer, the doors open. You're like, okay, how does he have access to all this? But he's doing it. And they get in there and they find the supercomputer. Yeah, that's what I need to know. So the supercomputer's there, and the Engineer does her thing. Like she has all these like little techno wires come out, and she connects to it. And she finds the message from Superman's parents, the one he listens to kind of give him comfort. It's like, hey, you know, you're our only son, and we sent you to Earth, and you're gonna be super strong, and you know we love you and all that. And it's like a feel good message, but it messes up at the end. You don't know what it says, but she can figure it out because it was messed up, but she can fix it. She can recreate it. So she finds out what the complete message is, and like Lex is like, good, that's what we need to know. And they get out of there. Like, all right, we got what we need to know. Lois comes home. She's at our apartment, and she's walking in. And she like hears somebody in there, and she gets kind of scared. She grabs a bat, and she's gonna investigate. And it turns out it's Clark. Clark's in there, and he's cooking her something. He's like, it's our anniversary of something, that either when we first met or started dating or whatever it is they are officially. And they're having a good time. They're making out a little bit. And then she's like, what if you did an interview with me? He's like, yeah, I'll do that. She's like, are you for real? He's like, yeah, I've been media trained. I can handle it. She's like, I'm not going to, softball this. I'm going to come at you with some real questions. So they sit down, and it's going to be it's bad news. It's like, you're having a good time. Why are you going to do this? Because the night's going to be ruined. But she just comes in. She's like, you do a lot of things that are good, but people don't like that. And he's like, well, you know why? I stop bad people. She's like, well, you just can't do that. He's like, well, that's I don't like that. So well, that's the way it is. And she's like, I'm a news reporter, and I have to be like unbiased, and you just can't take sides, and it's not good. He's like, well, sorry. And I'm going to get out of here because, I don't like this. She's like, oh, this never works out. I knew it wasn't going to work out. He's like, well, why would you say that? And she's like, I don't know. So they kind of leave, they're not having a good time. So then some of Lex's goons show up out in Metropolis, and they got a cage and has a little baby monster in there, a little kaiju. They let it loose, and it's little tiny. What's that thing going to do? And it goes out there, and it's it's going to get a lot bigger. And so it cuts to the next day, and this thing's like a monster. It's huge. And it's tearing up Metropolis. So you got this big, giant kaiju. You got this big, giant kaiju tearing it up. And the Justice Gang is already on the scene. So you got Green Lantern, Guy Gardner. He's using his Green Lantern powers, doing stuff. You have Mr. Terrific on his little floaty chair with his orbs, and he's like examining it and seeing where, what needs to be done. Also, Hawkgirl's flying around. I don't have a figure for her. Then Superman comes in, and he's like beating on it a little bit, but he doesn't want to kill it. He's like, maybe we could take it down, or at least, put out of its misery without, hurting it too bad. You can tell he's got heart. He doesn't just want to like hurt things. And even as things are happening, like it's knocking things over. He's flying. He's like helping little girls. They're about to get like hit into explosions. Even a little squirrel, like a squirrel's about to get hit, and he like flies and he picks up the squirrel. And like he's stopping buildings from like landing on people. And they're like, no, we gotta kill this thing. He's like, oh, all right. So they get in there, and Mr. Terrific throws some like orbs down in his belly, and they explode, and it kills it. And as the things fall on, Superman's keeping it from like crushing anybody. So they stop the giant kaiju. But at the same time, Lex is using that as a distraction, because Lex then uploads the message of Superman's Kryptonian parents. And the message says, hey, yeah, we sent you to Earth to rule, because you are super powerful and awesome. And you can kind of take over and be the ruler of the planet, have Superman babies, and spread the Kryptonian, remake the Kryptonian people. And the world's like, oh, that sucks, because, we thought you were a cool dude, but we don't like that. So Superman shows back up to the Fortress of Solitude, and it's all been messed up and ransacked and all beat up, and his robots are all broken, and he's like, oh no, what happened? They're like, we're sorry, we couldn't stop him. And he's like pretty sad about it. Before, like hurt pretty bad. He tells them what happened, that people got in there. He's like, well, where's Crypto? And like they took the dog, and he's like, what? And he's like, takes off. So Lex is just sitting there in his office having like a business meeting, and Superman busts in. He's like, where's the dog? And he like throws a desk. And like gets in his face like, where's the dog, Luthor? And Lex like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he like drinks some coffee. He's like, big ugly dog. And Superman's, what'd you say? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. And he's like, you better watch your back. And he gets out of there. And Superman he's shook. He's pretty upset. He's like, his whole world of like doing good and helping people has just been turned upside down. So he's like, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to think. And he's like, what do I do? And he goes back to his apartment, and Lois is there. And he's like sitting there, and he's like, I'm pretty upset. She's like, yeah, I know that sucks, but you are, you are what you are. You can't let that define you, what your parents told you to do. But, you maybe need to lay it low or whatever. He's like, I don't do social media. Superman doesn't do social media. It's like, what? And outside the window is like a big, they called it an imp. It's like attacking the city, but like it's like they've seen this type of stuff all the time, so it's not really a big deal. And she's like, do you need to go take care of that? He's like, no. And outside you got the Justice Gang, and they're attacking, and they're fighting it. And I guess it's under control, so not a big deal. But Superman's like, well, people don't trust me. I'm going to turn myself in, because that's the right thing to do. I want people to know that, it's not me, and I'm a good person. He's like, yeah, are you sure you should do that? He's like, yeah, I'm just going to, turn myself in, and we'll let them all figure it out. So it's like, oh, I don't think that's a good idea, but they say their things, and she's like, all right, I love you. He says, I love you, but, I don't think she says it back. So he's like, oh, he's like, I should have said it a long time ago. But he gets out of there. So then he goes and he turns himself in, and Ultraman's there, and he's like giving him the beat down. He's like, you don't have to do that. I turned myself in. And Rick Flag is there. Rick Flag Sr., because Rick Flag Jr. died in Suicide Squad, but they're kind of connected somehow. But Rick Flag Sr.'s there. He's like, we had, since we don't have a place in our facilities to imprison you, we had to outsource it. And they outsourced it to Lex, who just happened to have a place that can hold super beings. He's like, yeah, I got you. So they take him to this beach that has always like tents and stuff, and everyone's wearing Hawaiian shirts, and they're playing music, and it's kind of weird. And they take him into a tent, and inside the tent is like a big tunnel, and it's a portal. It opens up, and it goes into like this big void area, And it's all these prison cells in like this little riff in time, and something Lex has created. It's a pocket universe type deal, and it's pretty dangerous, I guess, to do. It's unstable, but you can house all his. He has like his ex-girlfriend is in there, and like other super beings. It's like, all right, and they haul him in there, and they put him into like a glass chamber, and he's like, "Are you kidding me? No, this isn't gonna contain me." He's like, "Yeah, well, we got something for you." And what's his name? So Superman's like in this jail with Metamorpho, and Metamorpho is like, if I'm in here, you're not gonna get out. And Superman's like, how's that? And Metamorpho can change into different elements, and he turns his hand into kryptonite. And he's like, you can't do anything about it. And he's like, why would you do that? And they look across the cell, and there's like a guy holding a little baby, and it's a little Joey. It's a Metamorpho's baby, I'm guessing. He's like, they got my baby. Superman's like, if you let me go, I'll help you. He's like, no, shut your mouth. I'm just going to do what I'm told. And then it cuts back to Lex and the leader of Bavaria. And they're making some deals and doing some like politician type stuff. He's like, well, Superman's out of the picture. We can invade. So they're going to invade that country that he wanted to invade. And it's a big mess. And then Lois goes to the Justice Gang, which is funded by Max Lord, which is kind of cool. That was the bad guy from Wonder Woman 1984. He's in the comics. He's not just from that movie, but he's been played before recently by Pedro Pascal. But now he's played by James Gunn's brother. But she goes to the Justice Gang, and the Hawk Girl's there too. I saw the figure, and she's like, hey, what are we going to do? Superman's missing. Like, well, we tried to track him because we put a tracker in his blood, but he just disappeared on that beach. We don't know what happened to him. It's like, well, let's go to the beach and figure it out. And he's like, I don't know. I'm kind of leader, but she's like, are you really? I don't like your haircut. And she's like, well, I'm out of here because I'm going to go do something. And Mr. Terrific, he's like, no, I got you. I'll help you. So they go and open up his garage, which is super slow. And he's like, here's my ride. Let's get in there, and we'll fly over there. So they take off and they fly, and then they land when they're on the beach, and they get out, and all of the guards, Lex's guards, which is kind of cool. They have a green and purple look, which is reminiscent of Lex Luthor's battle armor from like the superpower days. But all these like guards are around like, hey, what are y'all doing here? You can't be here. And Mr. Terrific just like goes nuts. He like puts a protective orb around Lois, and he's got the orbs flying around. They're shooting lasers and tearing these guys up. And he's super awesome. Mr. Terrific is like just like owning everybody. And you're like, okay, this guy is like supposed to be like one of the smartest. I think this one of the smartest people in the DC universe, but he's also super tough. So they get rid of everybody, and him and Lois go in the little tunnel, and they say, oh no, this is the portal to the pocket dimension, which is like, really bad and dangerous. So he's like, I'm going to figure this out. So they get it, start working on it, hacking on it. They get that open. And then at the same time, Lex comes back, and he's kind of taunting Superman. He's like, Superman's all hurt. He's got kryptonite sickness. He's like, I want you to suffer, and my ex-girlfriend's in the cell next to you. It's pretty messed up, right? And he's like, I'm going to shoot this guy that helped you on the, Russian roulette. And it's like the second bullet kills the dude, and Superman's like super upset. It's like, oh no. And Lex is like, all right, well, we'll talk to you later. And Metamorpho's like, I don't like that. That's pretty messed up. That guy didn't do anything. So I think you're an all right guy, and I'm going to put the kryptonite away and get some, I'm going to turn myself into some sunlight and get you all healed up. So he turns on the sun. Superman feels better, breaks the glass, and they get out of there. And he's like, I gotta get my son. So Superman goes and gets his son, Joey. And like they're flying out of there, and like the drones are flying to come and get him. But Superman's fighting him, and Metamorpho's helping, and he's turning into acid and burning these guys up. Superman goes and rescues Crypto, who was in the little Crypto prison. He was fighting the squirrels, and he gets him out, and Crypto's flying around. And there's like a river of like something that leads to a black hole, and like Superman gets stuck in there. But Joey gets saved. Crypto comes out, and he gets him, saves him. And then Mr. Terrific's orbs come down. He's like, hey, follow the orbs. And they all fly out of there together. So they all get out and they're all talking like, all right, we're out of here, and thanks for rescuing me. And Mr. Terrific is like, I need to stick behind here and figure this thing out because this could be a real problem. And Lois is like, well, I'm going to take the... So they all get out of there, and Metamorpho and takes Joey, and like they split. And Mr. Terrific's like, I'm going to take you back to your home. So they all go back to the Kent farm where Superman gets some rest, and Lois meets everybody. And Crypto's running around the farm having a good time. So Superman and Mr. Terrific are talking. He's like, that portal thing is pretty bad news. And if we don't have the code, to stop, they can destroy everything. It's gonna rip the world in half and cause a big rift in the world. And Superman's like, no, how we can get that code? He's like, we'll go to Lex and we'll get it. I'm like, all right. So they get out of there. I'm watching the news, and Peacemaker makes a little cameo. He's like, Superman can be kind of crazy, but that's the way it is with these superhero types. And we have Lois, and she's like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And she's talking to Jimmy, and Jimmy's like, oh, I have an inside source. And she's like, who? He's like, I can't tell you, but he's texting somebody. And then later on, we find out Jimmy's texting Lex Luthor's girlfriend, her influencer girlfriend, who's been taking selfies the whole movie. But it turns out she was taking selfies of important things that Lex had around. She's kind of a little spy. So she sends all that to Jimmy, and Jimmy's like, what am I gonna do with this? And Lois is like, oh my gosh, she's a genius. She's been sending you all these secret messages that have Lex's information. He's trying to get the war started with the Bavaria and the other country, so he can take over. He wants to be king. Lex wants to be king of this country or whatever. Oh my goodness, we gotta stop Lex. So they take that information, and they're gonna put it out to the world in a news report from the Daily Planet. And the other Justice Gang, the rest of them, I don't have Hot Girl. We have Green Lantern. They go, and Bavaria's attacking the other country, and they're helping the people, the little kids are like, where's Superman? They put up flags hoping Superman shows up. He's like, you didn't get Superman today, kid, but you got an upgrade. You got the Green Lantern. You got the Justice Gang. And they're attacking the tanks and stopping the people from getting taken over. And back in Metropolis, you have Lois has taken everyone in the from the Daily Planet that was still there, and they're flying around in the T craft because everything's being evacuated. This one they wanted to make sure to show Metropolis being evacuated while everything's getting destroyed, just so there was no people online saying, oh my goodness, Superman destroyed all this stuff and a lot of people were dying. Nope, everyone's evacuated, everybody was safe, so it's all good. But you got the people on the Daily Planet, and Lois is up there, and Jimmy Olsen's writing a story on Superman and how he's not a bad guy. And Superman is fighting the Engineer, and he's fighting Ultraman. Mr. Terrific's in there fighting, they're helping. They're getting thrown around. Ultraman's just giving them business. They're fighting in a football stadium or a baseball stadium or something. And it's really good stuff. And and Lex is the one controlling him still. He's A4, and just really cheat coding Superman really bad and tearing him up. And then the Engineer gets on Superman, and she puts these gets all nanobitey on him and gets into his lungs. It's pretty nasty. She does all this stuff, and he can't breathe. She's like, oh no, he's covering his face. We're gonna suffocate him to death. So he flies up as high as he can. He's got them both, holding on. Yeah, what are you doing? This is messed up. So they get super high into space, and then they come flying down. And Ultraman could probably take it because he's almost seems like he's as strong as Superman, but we don't know about the Engineer. But he crash lands on the ground. She gets knocked out, and he's coughing up all the nano stuff. And Engineer's all messed up. And then his mask comes off, and it turns out he's a clone of Superman, which I think that's Bizarro. I don't know for sure, but Bizarro will be playing the part of clone Superman from here on out. So clone Superman is there, and they're fighting, and Lex is still controlling it. And Superman's like, well, if the problem is because Lex is he's so stupid he can't do he can't think on his own, so I have to control him and tell him what to do. And Superman's like, well, if you can't tell him what to do, then I could probably beat him. So he tells Crypto. Crypto shows up. He's like, hey, stop all the drones that are watching. So Crypto's like attacking all the drones, and like Bizarro Superman's kind of like, what do I do? Because I don't know what to do because I'm dumb. And Superman just starts giving him the business and starts like pounding him and beating him up really bad. And like the rift is like tearing Metropolis apart. The rift from the portal that was like Alexa's unstabilized, and it's tearing everything up. And they're fighting near like the river, a black hole river. And he throws him down in there, and he's like, and like the clone of Superman gets sucked into the black hole, and I guess he's dead or put somewhere that we're not going to see him for the rest of the movie. And Superman's all right, we did it. So the Justice Gang kind of clean up things in Bavaria. They stop everything, and Metamorpho's there. He's helping out. And he's like, I want to be part of the gang. He's like, nah, I don't know about that. You look kind of ugly. He's like, well, I like the name Justice Gang. He's like, all right, you're in. And then we go back to Lex's headquarters where he just took a loss there because Ultraman got beat down, and he's gone. Superman shows up. He's like, oh, man, you got to stop this. I'm just a regular guy. I don't want to hurt anybody. We just need to be nice to people. That's like the message of the movie, be kind. And, I lived here. And he's like, no, you're dangerous. He's like, and Mr. Terrific's up there, and he's getting the codes because he's got to stop the rift from tearing Metropolis apart. Like, Metropolis is right now, this is being split in half. Destruction galore. It's terrible. Buildings are falling, and I know they said they evacuated, but you can't evacuate everyone that fast. So, I'm sure a lot of people died, but they're not focusing on that because Superman's a good guy. And Lex is like getting Superman's face, like, you big dummy. And Crypto's like, nope. And he like takes Lex and he's like smashing him around, and everyone's laughing in the theater. And Lex is, it's like, oh man, I've been defeated. He's like, yeah, you're gonna go to jail. So the message comes out that Lex, what he was doing, he was trying to start a war with the Bavarian country and the other country, and Lex was gonna take over and be a king and all that. And like, that's not cool. And you have all these like contract defense stuff with us, and like you're like an inside guy. It's not good. So yeah, you're gonna go to like the DC jail, which has a name, and like they come and arrest him. He's crying. He's like, oh, and like they drive off. So then Mr. Terrific is able to put everything kind of back the way it was. And at the end of the movie, there's a little scene where they're looking at like part of the town, and like this is a little bit off, like where the split was. He's like, it's not perfect. He's like, what are you talking about? You want me to redo it? That's crazy. He's like, I was just, I wasn't trying to say anything. He's like, it's crazy. Get out of here. But they fixed everything, and then like him and Lois is like, all right, we did it. And you're like, well, you want to come in and do an interview with me in private? And like, everyone's like, what? Like, yeah, I'd love to do that. And they go off and they're making out and they're flying. And like everyone's like, oh, in the theater, there's people crying in theaters, like you're sniffling. And everything's going pretty good. And you've got Crypto back. And then we go back to the Fortress of Solitude, and all the robots have rebuilt themselves, so like they're all happy again. And Robot 4 is like, hey, I wish I had a name. I wish it wasn't just 4. He's like, I don't know, what would I call you? He's like, Gary's a name. He's like, all right, you're gonna be called Gary. And then Supergirl shows up. I don't have a Supergirl figure, so we're gonna use Wonder Woman. And she's kind of like drunk acting. She's like all like weird. And she's the girl from the House of Dragons. And she's like, hey, I'm back. Where's my dog? And Crypto's like, hey, thanks, you're back. And she's like, thank you for babysitting my dog, and I'm gonna get out of here. And Superman's like, yeah, she likes to party on other planets because she's young. It's my younger cousin. That's crazy. She's like, all right, I'm gonna get out of here until it's time for my movie. And Superman's like, all right, And Superman's all like, things are better. And he's like, life happens pretty fast. If you don't take time to slow down, you might miss it. And that's the message of the movie. And be kind to people. And then at the very when the credits start and they show Superman sitting there on the moon, they're looking at Earth and like, all right, pretty cool. And the credits start, and the punk rock, be a punk rocker with Iggy Pop's playing, and audience is cheering. They're all losing their mind, and then like people have their popcorn buckets and cups, and they're all going crazy, and they're heading out of the theater. So it was a good time. So there you go. There's Superman and a overview from the way I remembered it. So maybe I didn't get all the details right. I tried to, I did forget a few things. I went back and refilmed it. So if it doesn't play right, it's because I'm like, oh no, I forgot when Superman went and attacked Lex, and it's like, where's my dog? So I inserted that little shot in there. But I like the movie a lot. I like Man of Steel a lot. There's not really been a Superman movie I've not light in some way. It is different. Man of Steel was, more serious and had that kind of darker tone, where this was, it had more. Superman was a lot more happy. I'll say that. Like, Man of Steel never seemed like he was ever happy or having a good time. This one, like, he had a good time, and he wanted to, be nice to people, and he seemed more hopeful. So I'm excited to see where this goes with the new DC world. And it was a good movie. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, everything looked good. It was a fun movie. It's a James Gunn movie, and I like James Gunn a lot. So you get in there and just have a good time and watch it and see some There's a lot of little Easter eggs in there. You see Peacemaker and Max Lord and probably tons of references I missed. But there you go. I do recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun, and looking forward to what's next. If you want, if you've seen this and you want to see some more, he's actually put out Creature Commandos. It's on HBO Max. It's all tied in. It's all the same universe. So I think Max Lord might be in that. Definitely Rick Flag is in there. He plays a pretty big part. So this Rick Flag is the same Rick Flag that's in the movie in the Creature Commandos. So there, you can check it out. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that was entertaining to you as I just rambled and speed talked my way through it. There you go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.